don't say it anymore, but we say it this way. Dii aataagang.
Dii aataagang.
See, I'm not very good with spatial.
Are they downstairs tonight?
I'm not an artist, so I don't get my spaces right. But Dii aataagang is I'm human, but it's more than human. It's, I'm a unique being, I guess you might say. That we're all the same, different. And even when so we have to start identifying ourselves again by our own names. One of the words I don't like is this word nation. Because nation is an organization of individuals for profit and politics. They don't own anything. Nobody owns any part of this nation. So, nation is really feeding into the loss of our own identity. But when we use the term tribe, even that's beginning to change to where it's a bad word. Tribal means that they're sticking together. They're working as a unit. But the individuals don't like it because they can't bust us up. So if I had to pick, I'd choose to refer to as a tribe. Because we're all related to the land, we're related to all the things out there. And then even, I don't know, in the popular, you have words like he, she, him, her. See, we don't. We have this word Haw'aa, means that person. That person is a brother to this person. Or that person is a sister to this person. Rather than she is my sister, he is my brother. So there's no ownership in there. We're just recognizing each other as individuals. And all of us have a separate existence. And when we use some people say that's my mind, but it's my total being. It's my whole being. So when I say I'm happy, it isn't just my mind. It's my whole being is happy. It's being happy. Or my whole being is being sad. Or my whole being is being hungry. So it recognizes, we don't have fractions, I'll put it that way. So if you cut that pie into 4 pieces, those are 4 pies, rather than 4 pieces of a pie. So it's always complete units, no fractions. And so when you start using your own language, you begin seeing the world a different way. You begin seeing it, I guess it's called a worldview, a different worldview. When I refer to a person as Haw'aa, that person, I'm not putting any kind of baggage or interpretation on it. But in English, if I say her or she, it immediately has a value judgment. It attaches to a society that looks down on women or down on females. Whereas in our matrilineal society, it would be the opposite. So men would be relegated to a lower level because we're looking at matriarchs. Matriarchs, again, is a European term, where it's the boss lady. In Haida, we have a term called Eldus. Eldus. Some people use that as a name. Eldus, roughly translated, can be a grand lady. But on the other hand, it's a person of great calm and presence that walks in the ranks of chiefs. So instead of saying it's a woman, it's a her, she, this person walks in the ranks of chiefs. A person of great calm and presence. And that's a lot different than just a matriarch. And also, when we use the term elder, that's a position in the church, is an elder. When I was growing up, the only time I ever heard that word was when they referred to somebody in the church, was an elder, a church elder. Otherwise, to us, they were the old ones. Or my Chinai, grandfathers, grandmothers. Because then, this is where our valid teachings came from, was from those grandparents, those old ones, and from our parents. And so now we even argue about who is an elder, what age do you become an elder? So pretty soon you're going to have an ID card that says you're elder. Well, here's my elder's badge, my flip phone. Only us old buggers have it. So when we start looking at ourselves as individuals, we really take away from ourselves. Because we start looking at ourselves as a group. Now, many of the ones who are my age, who grew up here on the coast, also grew up on fishing boats. And one thing about being on a fishing boat, the crew all had to work together. Nobody was more important than anybody else except maybe the skipper. And so you learn to help each other, to look out for each other, to make sure nobody got hurt. And also team sports. Some people, I love to play basketball, I just wasn't really very good at it. Whereas others that were very good at it, they stuck with it. I felt more comfortable playing something like softball, baseball. Again, it's that whole idea of being a team, of working together as a whole society, rather than individual. And when you look at one person on that team and say that's the most valuable player, what are you saying about the others? That MVP didn't win a game. So even within our structure, the word for chief, aataagang, literally means a big boss who can't give orders. In the European society, a chief is the boss. The chief can punish you for insubordination. On ours, he couldn't. He couldn't give orders. People followed this person because he had what we call a soft mind. A soft mind means that person cares about everybody's feelings. This person knows the weaknesses and strengths of all the, we'll say the men in his group, in his crest or his house. And so nobody is put down for being whatever. In fact, one of our stories about how we end up with a high-bowed canoe, this big canoe that would go into the ocean. A canoe maker spent about 20 years trying to figure out how to make a canoe that when he had a following sea, especially quartering sea, that it didn't shear and roll over. spent about 20 years trying to figure out how to do it. And there was a guy that we referred to as a good for nothing. He never bothered anybody, you know, just a nice guy around the village. But he was the person who could do just anything. But he just didn't most of the time. But he watched his canoe makers for about 20 years. Finally, the guy threw down his ads. He said, I can't figure it out. Good for nothing said, hey, I can tell you how to do it. Okay, if you're so smart, let's see you do it. He said, I can't do it. I can tell you how to do it. He thought, well, I've spent 20 years at this. What do I got to lose? So he said, well, what's your idea? So he explained it to him. And when he finished, he asked the guy, he said, do you believe this will work? And he said, yes, it will work. Okay, the first storm comes up, we're going to go out and try it. If it doesn't work, you're going to drown right with me. They went out, they tried it, and it worked this way, the guy said. It didn't shear this way. It didn't tip over. And what he did, we'll say this the way the canoe is. This is the bow, and this is the stern. This was solid wood, this whole part here. The same way back here, solid wood. And this piece right here, when you've got a quartering C, it picks up the stern, and because of the distribution of the weight, it'll shear. But because of this, it didn't. This acts like a rudder on the bow, this piece that's coming straight down. So it didn't shear either way. The track in a straight line, even with a quartering C pushing it, would still go in a straight line. And then the bottom of the hull for the big ones was about 7 inches thick. And it had water in it. And then, but this was just the basic design, but it was sort of balanced. And the way they achieved this shape is when they had the log and they cut it, they had a hump in the bottom, like this. So when they steamed it with rocks and whatever here, this would begin to move down and the ends would move up. So that's how you got this shear like this, because this part here with the water and the rocks would go from this down to this. And then they scorched it with, they put pitch on it and then scorched it, then sanded it with shark skin. So now, because of the way it pulled down, the fibers pull tight. And now that you've fire hardened it, it's like fiberglass bottom. Very smooth, very fast. And because of this, it didn't shear, and because this is solid wood, if you rime something, it doesn't break right here, because it's solid wood. But if it was hollowed out in there, it would break right there. And then on the stern was actually the most difficult part. My uncle was telling me that, well, a man named Ed Hamilton, his uncle was the last of the northern Haida canoe makers. And he said he was making a canoe and he got to the stern and he got stuck. And he said my uncle would watch me every day. Finally, he said, Uncle, I'm stuck. Because the stern part is very critical to the whole thing. So his uncle said, what's wrong? He said, I can't make the stern right. And his uncle didn't say anything. He went home and he came back and he had what was called a 7-pound axe. A big broad-headed axe. And instead of using an adze, he used that axe and he chopped out the stern for him. And then he walked away and left him. It took him a while to do it. But down in Sausalito, California, Reg Davidson from Morrison made a canoe. We launched it, and took it out on San Francisco Bay. And I forget how many paddlers we had there, 8 or 10 paddlers. And as we were traveling, some kayaks pull up alongside us. And they were throwing a bigger weight than the canoe was. Because the way this stern is shaped, it doesn't drag any water behind it. You know, from being on a boat, how you see the wake is pulling behind the boat?
Yeah.
It doesn't do that with this canoe. You get almost what you call a zero drag coefficient. And so it's very, very efficient going through the water. And so this was, again, it's what that roof nothing described, this stern, as to how it should be built. So we never threw anybody away. If somebody had an idea, you listen to it. You never know where it's gonna, something brilliant's gonna come from. And then later, with the big ocean going canoe, there was a hole through the stern here where they put the steering, well actually it was just, you know, not a very big area. But the steering paddle would go through there, and it was shaped just like your regular paddle. Let's say time like this, you know, how our paddles have a short. Well, that's how the steering paddle was on this big ocean going on. And then right here where it went through the hole, they take cedar saplings and weave them around until it's a ball. But they put it on this side of the opening, so when the paddle would slide down to that point, it couldn't slide through it. And they would keep it wet. And my uncle, Albert Nix, was telling me, when a canoe was under full sail.
May I please have some panic?
What's that?
May I please have some panic?
Yeah. Just leave a $10. But my uncle was telling me when you're under full sail, that it took the full strength of those 2 big men to turn the canoe. Because the thing would go up to 30 miles an hour. The Russians reported that 55 canoes left. Our village was called Haw'aa. It's a green crab grove village. From there to Sitka is almost 300 miles. They had their morning meal in the village and evening meal in Sitka. So they covered 280 miles or so in 10 hours. And so they had to be averaging close to 30 miles an hour all the way. And we're having a musical interlude. And so when you're traveling like that, you know, you can't really turn that thing very fast. But part of what it was because of the shape of the paddle and the way they had a fulcrum there to where they could brace again, they could pull it, is they could turn it too. Twist it so the edge of the paddle would turn this way or this way. Because if you're trying to go this way and you turn it this way, it digs even deeper into the water and gives you more turning power. So this was a very important part of that. And then when they went down, you know, fight with somebody else, when they got close within range, the women would paddle. And when they came in, they'd come straight in toward the beach, and then those women would whirl it around. So the stern was to the beach, because it was too hard to jump off the bow, so they'd come off the stern, and they'd pull offshore. When the guys were ready to leave, they pulled back in, stern first, load them aboard, and away they go. So it was a very efficient craft. And Bill Reed, one of our late Haida harbor artists, he was talking about the development of that canoe. And he said, when you build a house, you can just keep adding to it. But when you're building something for the ocean, it has to be straight. It has to be balanced. Because if you don't get it balanced, it'll tip over. If you don't get it straight, it'll go in a circle. So there's a whole lot of things that go into the engineering of watercraft that isn't necessary with land construction. But anyway, I think it's about time to